Hi, I'm Liron Cohen.
And I'm Mimi Torchin.
And you're listening to Lady Parts TV, the podcast.
Whee!
Hi, everybody.
Hello. I missed my cue again.
It's not a very complex one. Hi, everybody. Thank you for being back with us on the podcast. We know we've been skipping a few weeks here and there, but we have been working very hard on Talking Teal and just didn't have the energy. But we promise we'll be back on top of it.
Just energy also. There wasn't that much to...
Yeah, well, and actually we have a few movies to... A couple of them we need to warn you about. And, usually we don't warn you about movies because we feel that if somebody put the energy and the creativity and the effort...
we like to be supportive as much as we can.
Exactly. So we wouldn't recommend it, but we wouldn't necessarily disrecommend it. But sometimes you have to warn people because either somebody really, really... thought they were doing something amazing and it fell flat on its face.
Or that it's a pedigree that you would be very
probably spend
interested
money
in.
on.
Yeah.
And we need to warn you so you know what you're getting yourself into.
Not so much warn you as give you the full picture.
Right.
In 20 words or less.
But our stats today, since it's taken us a while between podcasts, we tallied 51 primetime shows, out of which written or co-written by a woman, 34, which is 67%. That's 2/3. That's pretty amazing. Mm-hmm. And directed by a woman, 18, 35%.
Not the worst.
And we're going to start with a film. Mimi, take it.
Yes, okay. So this film is called Falling for Figaro.
Can you Figaro it out? What it's about?
It's available now.
Everywhere.
Is it everywhere?
Yep.
Is it screening? And
yes, it's up for rent on websites and streaming.
Okay. It's directed by Ben Lewin, who I don't know, but it's also written by Ben Lewin and Alan Palmer, and it has a good cast. Joanna Lumley, excuse me, I would watch Joanna Lumley.
That's pretty much why we watched it.
And Danielle MacDonald, who is really lovely always. And let me just tell you first off, if you don't like opera, don't watch this film. But secondly, I'm saying I am not a fan of opera. And I loved this movie.
But you have to be able to tolerate opera. And, I like arias and I like the craft. But it was too much opera. It was too much opera.
It was okay for me. I really didn't mind it because it was in service of the story.
Yeah, maybe if I had liked the story more. But I didn't.
And it's a young Millie. She's a fund manager. And she leaves her job. I think is she in London?
Yes.
So, and she goes to Glasgow. She wants to be an opera singer. That is her dream. And she goes to Glasgow to study with one of the world's great teachers, who was a former great opera singer, played by
Joanna Lumley,
who
also happens to be a horror show, as these teachers tend to be in movies.
And Joanna Lumley is brilliant at that. I mean, Patsy from Ab Fab was one of the biggest horror shows, and I adored
in the best way possible
everything she did. Yes. And here I don't adore everything she did, but of course, as you know, they always come around.
You give a spoiler.
Oh, come on. It's not a spoiler.
And you know what? This is exactly what I was going to say, though. One of the problems for me in this film was that it's extremely predictable.
There are no spoilers. It's rom-com, and it pretty much follows...
Paint by the numbers.
Follows the rom-com. But it is a different... story. It takes place in the beautiful Scottish Highlands. She is trying to win the coveted
a singer of note, singer of renown,
singer of renown contest, which is
American Idol
for opera singers. Exactly. Although it's much more stuffy and but anyway, of course, she will be competing with somebody a young man who she finds very attractive, who works for Joanna Lumley, and she teaches him. He's her only other student. Anyway,
I actually had no patience for it,
yes,
and I left it
left.
halfway into
But
it.
I stayed, and I was delighted. I had a wonderful time. It lifted me up. Everybody was terrific. The music was gorgeous. Even though I'm not an opera fan, I still enjoyed it. Many beautiful voices, and I reckon if you can tolerate opera, watch it. If you
For me,
like
it's more like
rom-coms,
if you
if
can
you
tell-
love opera, definitely watch it.
Now,
It's
you
a
see,
wonderful movie.
I love rom-coms if they're made well, and I didn't enjoy.
Well,
this.
yes, you love rom-coms, but you hate opera.
No, I don't hate opera. I actually like opera way more than you do.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, I do. In terms of, again, I enjoy the sound and I enjoy the artistry and the talent, but I just found it tedious because it was very repetitious. It wasn't you weren't watching an unfolding. It was very
No,
repetitious.
there are no surprises, but it's still
It was
a
very
fun
predictable,
movie, and I enjoyed it, and everyone was wonderful.
So there you have it. You have to choose if you're Team Mimi or Team Leon. No, just kidding. But it's actually good when sometimes we disagree about a movie that we can give you. You can see how it's all a matter of taste.
Exactly.
Now this we don't think is a matter of taste. This is called Needle in a Timestack, which already is a terrible title.
Terrible title.
Needle in a Timestack. So it's like a haystack.
Needle in a haystack, but it
a time
has to
stack.
do with time shifting.
It is available everywhere, including by now on DVD if you want to purchase it and have it to watch again and again and again and again and again.
Just like you got stuck in a time loop.
Time warp,
somewhere.
yes. And this is one of those movies that has an excellent pedigree. It's directed by John Ridley, who also is the director behind 12 Years a Slave. It's starring Leslie Odom Jr., Cynthia Erivo, Orlando Bloom, Frida Pinto.
Beautiful Frida Pinto.
And it's based on the short story by Robert Silverberg. And so we came into it.
Robert Silverberg.
Oh my God, we have to find out to see if it's him.
Wow.
Your life could have been so different.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, this is one of those movies. We saw the cast, we saw the director, we thought, well, and then we read the concept and it sounded interesting.
Yes, I love anything about time shifting and time travel.
Right, so this
it's one
is
of my most...
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not crazy about it, but done right, it can be very interesting. And this was taking place in the near future, but time can be kind of played with and adjusted. And so, of course, as humans always tend to do, they abuse that right as well.
Well, it's a ridiculous concept that people would be allowed to mess with time.
Well,
because it changes everything.
Yes, but it's not
ridiculous.
about being... Yes, but and that's why they call it, I think, time crimes or something like that.
So
it's not like they're allowed, but people do things that are bad. You know, what can you do? Anyway, Cynthia Erivo and Leslie Odom Jr. play a married couple. They again live in this time where you can warp time and shift things, and it starts off actually very interesting with a few things that kind of look, they did these little subtle things that change, and you think
little adjustments.
Yeah, you think okay, this is interesting, and then ultimately, apparently, it's about love and about how love goes in a circle. And I'll tell you what this movie did. It went around and around and around and around and got nowhere.
It was so boring. How you can make a movie with this kind of a subject matter.
With these actors, with this
these
director.
actors and director, and maybe writer, if it's,
I don't know.
And make it completely dull
And pointless.
Yeah. Pointless.
Whatever their point was, we didn't get it.
Nope.
So
I mean, I would say don't mess with time, except that even that so much wasn't
no, because again, ultimately I do think it was about love, or supposed to be about love. I found it so tedious and so boring.
Even these wonderful actors were not interesting.
Yeah, they couldn't pick it up. So this is one of those times when we have to tell you it might look appealing and attractive, but we just have to give you our take on it because I was very unpleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I know it's going to sound really good to a lot of you. And if you don't mind, if you can watch it somewhere for free.
Or if you don't mind paying.
I wouldn't recommend paying
No,
for
I
it.
wouldn't. But if you still want to.
I would recommend that if you have an interest in it, you can at least watch a little while and see if it goes anywhere. For free.
It didn't to
for
us.
Free. No, it didn't.
This is Needle in a Timestack. It is available everywhere now if you want to.
Just a girl who decided to go for it. You've probably heard about it. It's a documentary about Rita Moreno. And it was done by...
Miriam Perez Riera.
Yeah. And Norman Lear had a lot. I think he executive produced it. Anyway, it's available on Netflix, and it is a look at the life and the astonishing career of Rita Moreno, who is now, I don't know, almost 90.
Almost 90, yeah.
And
If not 90
she's a
already.
friend of mine, and I'll tell you something. She's the same to me as she was when I first was friends with her 40 some odd years ago. She is a firecracker. She is a ball of talent and energy. This is a fantastic documentary because she is so honest. First of all, it's a very good... It scans her career and it gives you the high points, some of the low points.
Oh, yes. I mean, the cultural context
Yes,
of them especially.
it's of course, about typecasting and marginalization and racism and Me Too. Mm-hmm. And Rita sort of fell into all of them. But nevertheless, she persisted, and she is now a national treasure. Our national treasure,
Puerto
Rico's national treasure, the world's national treasure. She is an amazing woman, and I have never really heard anybody be so candid about the things that happened in their lives. I love Rita personally. I love her professionally.
And personally.
Personally and professionally. Yeah. She's a fantastic woman, a role model for any woman of any background, ethnicity, age. She is just one of the greats.
But I love personally hearing when people like that who you think, it's so easy to fall into that trap of thinking that some people have got it all and have, just... And then when you hear what's really going on in their lives and what they've had to struggle with, and you really even admire them more for being able to get through all of that and still do all that they do and be all that they...
And I learned, I'm not going to say what it is, but I learned something that I thought I knew the truth about.
Even as a friend.
Having been a rather close friend.
No, there are things you don't know.
That was shocking to me.
There are always things
shocking.
You don't know.
And I just say bravo, brava, Rita, I love you. I thank you for everything you've given us, and I thank you for your candor and your energy and your bravery.
Your courage, yes.
And you are really a diamond.
I also want to say, in terms of the documentary, it was very well made.
Very well made.
It was fascinating, every minute of it.
Every second of it.
Yes, I thought that the combination of her interview with the archival footage, with the intimate shots, and she allowed herself to be shot very non-glamorous.
Yes, without makeup, practically straight out of bed.
Yes.
I was very happy that her daughter, Fernanda, who I have known since she was born, played a very good-sized role in it. She's probably the person she's closest to in the world.
It was a wonderful film.
It was wonderful. If you just want to be uplifted and learn lots of interesting things about Hollywood, and especially about Rita Moreno, watch it. You can watch it on Netflix.
Yes, Rita Moreno.
Or PBS.
Just a girl who decided to go for it. Wonderful documentary. And here's a surprise.
A huge surprise.
We thought we would watch, let's just watch one of it and see how we feel. Blah, blah, blah. The Big Leap, a new show on Fox, Mondays at 9 p.m., created by Liz Helden. And we mainly watched it. I mean, I don't think we would have even given it the time of day if it hadn't been for Terry Polo and Piper Perabo.
Right.
Who star in it, alongside wonderful other actors who we discovered, including Simone Reikasner.
Yes, who was just in, I think, the latest EW as a shooting star.
To watch for. Mm-hmm. Scott Foley.
Who we know,
absolutely. Yes. Mallory Jansen, who plays a hilarious role.
Yes, she's brilliant, too. She's a ballerina, and she's gorgeous. And
many
funny.
Other actors that I've never seen before, all excellent. And this show is just such a surprise because I'll tell you the premise if you haven't seen it yet. A group of people, they're putting a reality
From all walks
show.
of life.
Yeah, they're putting a reality show called The Big Leap where they take these people who I guess they have to go through auditions. So they have to have
Yes.
some background in dance, but they're not professional dancers in any way. Or maybe they had some background 30 years ago.
Right.
And they're putting together a production of Swan Lake.
Swan Lake. Really, they're not being very ambitious, really. They're taking these people who don't dance, many of them, and doing Swan Lake, one of the most iconic ballets in the world.
Now, each and every one of them have their own reasons for why they, in that point in life, need or feel that they want to do this. And of course, this is a reality show. I mean, not the show. The show within the show is a reality show. So there's all the ugliness, soul-crushing reality of the making of reality shows.
It is so disgusting, the things that they do in reality shows. But this one...
Yeah, well, it's the way that I was talking about it earlier to Mimi was it's like unreal, which we couldn't stand.
No,
we couldn't stomach it.
I mean, we loved it at first, and then when it got so mean...
We just couldn't. It was too awful. We felt dirty and violently ill after watching
Violated.
Yes, it was...
Not violently ill, but we did...
I mean, it was
disgusting.
It was disgusting. I couldn't stand it. Even though it was a good show. I
Very
just
good
couldn't.
show.
And I knew that they were telling the truth in
That's why
how
it was
these
so
things
difficult.
work. Exactly. That's why I couldn't bear it. So this show shows those things, but it has so much heart.
Yes.
And it has so much humor. And ultimately, it's about goodness, and it's about people, and about relationships, and about people getting a second chance
getting
in
a
life.
second chance. There's a lot of
Rediscovering
surprises.
themselves. Mm-hmm.
Yes, the characters are very surprising.
It's not predictable at all,
Not at
even
all.
though
Scott
you think
Foley,
it would.
who's the producer, and at first, he's almost a mustache twirler in the things he wants to do, but he just somehow always
Because he's human.
relents.
Yeah, he has a good
he's a
heart.
nice guy. Exactly.
And because it's not that kind of show. You have people to root for, and there are very few people there that you really dislike. Most of the people, you can find something about them to like. They humanize each and every one of them. And I thoroughly enjoy it.
We look forward to it every week.
And it's like our A show.
I'll choose it over a medical show to watch first. It's like unheard of. Do you want to watch The Big Leap or do you want to watch New Amsterdam?
This is now you're getting a glimpse into the hierarchy of television here. But really, it's been so enjoyable. And if I see that on every episode they kind of have a way of inserting like a small musical dance number.
Yes,
that's a little like heightened reality, but it's so adorable.
Charming. It's a wonderful, heartwarming, funny. It also gives you a taste of reality.
Mm-hmm. And there's conflict, there's drama.
There's lots of conflict and drama, but it's ultimately good-natured and good-hearted.
And we love dark shows. We're always drawn to the dark.
I don't know why we haven't killed ourselves in the middle of some show.
We are drawn to the dark, which is why, and it's very hard to appeal to us with a kind of a feel-good show.
Yes.
But when it's done right, it can be so uplifting and wonderful. And we're musical theater lovers, so we are very much
dance is not my favorite of the arts, but I'm really loving this.
Let me tell you, last week we watched Dancing with the Stars because of Melora Harding,
and found Hardin, and
we found
many.
JoJo Siwa, and we found Kenya Moore.
Oh, Kenya Moore.
Woo! Oh,
Excuse
God.
me, I'm having a hot flash.
It's just been it's like now we're taping it as a series now. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I definitely recommend take the leap and watch The Big Leap. You will not be sorry, even if you are a cynic like I am.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The Big Leap is on Fox Mondays at 9 p.m. And finally, we just have a sidebar that we had to say.
I do have one other little thing I just want to throw in for my sci-fi people, just in case you haven't watched La Brea.
Which I tried. It wasn't my thing.
It is really a fun show. It's also, very dark. Bad things happen in this show. It's about a sinkhole that opens up.
The usual.
It opens up at the La Brea, near the La Brea tar pits, and a bunch of people fall through, and they end up at 10,000 BC.
Yes.
But There's other things going on.
In the core of the earth.
There's other things going on. I love Natalie. Is it Zaya or Zay? I don't know. Natalie. She's the lead. There's a lot of very good people in it. And it's really fun. I think you will really enjoy it if you're a sci-fi fan.
I rolled my eyes and stopped after 30 minutes.
Is it on NBC? I think it is. Anyway, it's a cool
La Brea.
show. La Brea. As in the La Brea tar pits.
Right. So that's one sidebar. Another sidebar is that we have a problem.
Yeah,
we have a little beef.
I have a problem.
We have a little beef. You might know how much we love
SVU.
Law and Order SVU, Special Victims
Yes,
Unit.
we've seen them all 25
at
least 2 or 3 times, all 25 seasons worth.
I always laugh that usually around the weekend we have Xfinity, so we have those remote controls that you can talk to, and I hear Mimi say SVU. Because at any point in time there is SVU somewhere, and it's always, I don't know why, it's about rape, it's about kidnap, it's about sex, but it's always something that is fun to put in the background.
And also we have Olivia Benson, who is the hero of of women everywhere.
And this is really the core of why we always want to watch SVU, because we know whatever happens, we have our heroine who would always fight for us.
There have been good seasons, there have been mediocre seasons, there have been bad seasons. I would never desert this show.
No, but the fact that a show like that has now officially, yesterday, 500th episode, it is now officially the longest running TV show in primetime, I believe. And the fact that it's a show that's all about sexual assault.
Things.
No, it's not about that. The fact that it's about things that people didn't used to talk about, that women were dismissed for. The fact that this is now a show that is... it's amazing to me. It's such important stories. It certainly gives
power to victims.
And the fact that it's survivors. The fact that it's still to this day... it manages to find. Unfortunately, manages to find new stories.
It's called Special Victim Unit, so don't politically correct me.
It's not political correctness. It's about empowerment versus powerlessness. Yes. But the fact that this show still manages to find new and important subject matters, new cases. Again, it's unfortunate.
There is some repetition over the years, but it's done from a different angle usually.
And you can always find really good guest stars and
always.
So what is our problem, you're asking?
Here's our problem.
So, as you know, the second season of Law and Order Organized Crime, led by Elliot Stabler, who I never liked.
No, we never
Sorry,
were
people.
Big fans of Elliot.
I know everybody wanted Olivia and Elliot to be together.
Maloney.
I personally wanted Olivia to be with pretty much anybody else.
Especially a woman.
Here's a nod to you, Cabot fans. But it's the second season, and in the first season, we actually enjoyed it.
Yes, it was
more
actually
than we thought.
Very good.
Yeah, it wasn't SVU level,
no,
but it was.
But I found it to be wonderful.
It was good. We haven't gotten around to watching the second season yet, but surprisingly, I don't know if it's because of not so great ratings in the first season, they decided the show really needed a boost. And how do you do that? You put it together with SVU in a way that is. You can't separate the two. And I'm not talking about your, sweeps crossover, which we love. We love crossovers.
Sure. We watch them, we enjoy them on all of our multi-shows.
Exactly. But to have every single episode spend a few minutes on plots and characters
who we don't know because we haven't watched this season.
And what if we don't want to watch this season? Excuse me. What if we are strictly SVU fans and are not interested in Elliot and his spinoff? It's annoying.
It is because it's confusing. It takes time from
us.
The show we love.
Yes.
And
why should we sit here like idiots not knowing what they're talking about?
It feels extremely manipulative.
I agree. I feel that it's very manipulative, and I resent it.
Me too.
So there. Okay. With that, we will leave you. We will have a new podcast for you, hopefully next weekend. I'm not promising because there's still 2 weekends of Talking Teal, which might take me away from it, but I will try. And thank you for joining us. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.